Have you ever made the mistake of sleeping with a man before you're actually ready? What if I told you that even though all hope feels lost, it is still possible to gain your power back if you follow this very specific strategy? If you want to learn what that strategy is, then join me on today's show where we'll be discussing what to do if you sleep with a man too early. That way, not only will you be able to recover some of your dignity back, but you might even be able to get a great relationship out of it in the end. So one of the most common ways that you're going to make the mistake of framing this situation is that, oh my goodness, I made a horrible mistake. Okay? Because that's what you're thinking in your mind. You're thinking, oh my gosh, Tomisin, I wasn't supposed to sleep with him. And now that I've been watching your show, I've been realizing so much and I've been learning so much. And I now know that I don't have any clarity in this relationship. We don't have any direction here. He basically wants to be friends with benefits. And now I don't know what to do because now I can feel things changing, right? I can feel the way he treats me changing. I can feel the way he goes about this relationship changing. He's not as consistent with me and everything is starting to fall apart. This was a huge mistake. But this is a mistake to present it to him as if I made a mistake, because what you're inclined to do is to come to him and tell him how this was a mistake to sleep together. I know you're trying to be honest, but what I'm trying to help you understand is this is not the way we want to frame it. Because remember, perception is everything. And when the guys are dealing with you in a relationship, they're always perceiving how you act and respond to them to gauge what your level of value is. Okay, I know it sounds strange, but let me break it down a little bit further to you. When you come up to him, and I'm talking about say all of this stuff to him, right? You might actually tell him, I think that it wasn't the right time and I think that we did this a little bit too early, right? All of these different ways of framing this as a mistake is a mistake. Because now what you're actually showing him in spite of the fact that you think you're just being honest and letting him know how you really feel, you're actually ending up showing him that the boundaries that you set for yourself, the self-respect that you want to have, the way that you want to be viewed, you threw all of that out of the window in order to feel good in a moment. Because never forget, guys will take opportunities as they present themselves. It's up to you whether you want to enforce those boundaries or you want to let those boundaries be willy-nilly. So if you make the mistake of actually letting those boundaries be willy-nilly and just going by how you feel in the moment, we don't want it to make it seem like you let go of those boundaries because you're sending the wrong message and setting the wrong precedent that, hey, if I want something or I have something that's a boundary for me, or a limit for me that I don't want to do or is not okay with me, that means that that is a limit and that is a boundary, period. That doesn't mean that that's only a boundary until you can convince me to not make it a boundary anymore, right? It sends a message that you're a pushover if you had a thought in your mind that, hey, this is not the right time, or maybe we need to get to know each other better, but still you weren't able to stop yourself and stop him from actually allowing the situation to escalate, right? It doesn't send the right message as it relates to your own willpower. Okay, so what we want to do instead of framing it as, oh, this was such a mistake, we want to refocus. That's the way that we want you presenting this whole concept. Because you slept with him, yes, and obviously it was too early, so you don't want to be doing that anymore. But you also want to come up with a reason that seems very logical and sane of why you don't want to be sleeping with him anymore. Because at the same time as you not sleeping with him anymore, you still want to get and receive investment from him. So you're kind of doing two things simultaneously. You're backtracking because you don't want to be giving yourself away for free anymore. But at the same time as you're backtracking, you still want to make sure that he stays invested in you. Not becomes frustrated that he says, oh, we already slept together. Now why are you setting rules? What's the problem now? And then everyone's a little bit confused, right? We want to refocus things. Now I know usually I'll always tell you that it's the guy's job to provide you clarity and the guy's job to tell you what he wants and things like that. But in a situation like this, you gotta take control of the narrative, okay? If you've lost your power, what you're gonna notice is some of the things and the strategies that I tell you to use, we're gonna kind of switch these strategies up because you're going to have to accomplish a totally different goal and you can't afford to allow narratives to take shape that you're out of control of, okay? So what you're gonna be doing in terms of refocusing, right? You're gonna make sure that the sleeping with him, you are not presenting this as if, oh, your persuasion, your charm, your personality took me over. It hit me like a wave. And because you're so charming and so magical, I originally came here without the intention of sleeping with you, but your charm made me spread my legs wide open and allow you to jackrabbit yourself inside of me. Do not boost his ego by doing that. You might be thinking you're being honest with him. You're actually just boosting his ego and reminding him how amazing he is and how charming he is, that he could actually take you from not wanting to do something to wanting to do something, okay? We're gonna be redirecting energy into the place that you want it to go, which is not on you guys sleeping together a whole bunch. It's on investing in each other and learning each other, right? So now when you're actually gonna sit him down, we wanna refocus this into the parts of the relationship that you like, specifically the parts as it relates to you guys getting to know each other, okay? So let me even be more specific, because I didn't mention this earlier and I actually wanna make sure that we mention this. This should be a sit down conversation. You need to make sure that you have a serious sit down in-person conversation with him so that both of you are clear on what is going on, what is to happen, and why it's happening. The reason I say that is because I don't want you allowing him to go on in this relationship wondering why you're not offering yourself freely to him like you once were. I don't want him to be frustrated with the fact that you're not offering yourself freely to him like you once were, and then stop investing in you, right? We want to do multiple things simultaneously. We want to let him know that you love and care about this relationship and you like where it's going and that it wasn't a mistake to sleep with him, right? But we also want to make sure that he's clear on why he's not going to be getting free access to you, but it's not because he's never going to or because you don't like him. Why? Because we want to continue encouraging him and motivating him to pursue you. Point number 2 is about clarity. So let's imagine for this scenario here, your energy is all flowing in this direction here towards the magic kingdom of SEX. Now, a lot of this energy has been flowing towards sleeping together because now that you've opened Pandora's box, what do you think the number one focus of this guy is going to be? It's going to be sleeping with you. Okay, let's just be so for real. Now that you've done this, right, he's now going to be thinking, how can I continue to extract sleeping with her from her all the time, a lot of the time, while also putting in as little effort as possible. This is the exact moment where a lot of guys get lazy and complacent. Now we want to essentially take this energy that is and has started flowing towards sleeping together and pineapples, as we would say on the show, and we essentially want to cut that off, okay? We want to cut this off, and we want to start redirecting this energy to flow in the direction here of learning. And the learning that I'm trying to discuss with you here today is the learning of each other, right? Learning and growing in your understanding of each other, what your likes and dislikes are, where we're going with each other, how much we like each other, where we want this relationship to end up at, all of these things, right? The process of learning that human being, that's where you want to redirect the focus. So now you're going to be doing multiple things at once. Remember, I told you, you're going to sit him down and you're going to provide him with some clarity. I know that I never tell you that you should be the one providing clarity, but remember, in this situation, you've messed a lot of things up. So now you're going to have to do a lot of recovering. You need to be the one now providing the clarity. We're not going to be doing this sleeping together. I'm sleeping over at your house. I'm spending all night here, all day here. I'm doing this with you and that with you. We're watching Netflix as our dates, right? That aren't really dates. And I'm paying for your Uber Eats. You need to cut all of that out, right? You're not going to do it in an abrasive, masculine way. You're going to do it in a feminine, suggestive way. About how much you enjoy this relationship as it relates to learning each other and understanding each other better, okay? Now, remember, one of the key elements here is you don't want guys to feel like this is never coming. You have to always make him feel like this is a possibility, right? But it will be even better if you guys, instead of focusing just on that, you can go to learning each other and then come around and connect here with having, sleeping together, having sex together, okay? Because it will be so much more of an explosion and so much better of an experience if you guys can take this route of learning and understanding and growing with each other and then come around to sleeping with each other, okay? You have to make it seem like we're building together as a team to have the most positive, amazing experience for both of us, okay? This is very important. You don't want to frustrate guys, and, especially with your indecision here, okay? And this is not to diss you or, be mean to you, but if you've made that mistake, it's going to be very frustrating to guys to have slept with you, and then now all of a sudden you're saying, you can't sleep with me anymore, okay? I'm just going to be honest with you. Not that you can't say no, you can, but I just want you to understand you're going to get a lot of negative reactions from a lot of men that way. So we want to redirect it and say, I still am so happy to be in this relationship. I still do love everything we're working towards, and I love the most the parts of our relationship where we're learning each other and understanding each other. Because I know as we're growing our bond together, we can continue to end up in a better place overall. And when we do get here, because definitely we're going to get there, okay, we will both be so much happier with the end result. You guys aren't going to like this point. No more fun time. No more living in la la land. No more going with the flow. No more enjoying yourself. Okay? You're at war and you're fighting for your power in this relationship. This is war. There's no time for games anymore. There's no time for feelings. I just want to have fun. Fun is over. You now have to start becoming very, very aware, self-aware, but also aware of your surroundings. You're thinking ahead. So he might ask you something very innocent and say, hey, I love you so much. You're such an amazing woman. And I care for you so much that I want to do something for you. I want to do something really magic for you. I want to cook you dinner. I want to show you how much I love you and care about you by showing you how, good I can cook for you and serve you like a man should. And you're thinking in your mind, oh my God, you want to cook me dinner? And he's going to say to you, yeah, girl, I want to cook you that steak. I'm going to make it nice and medium. You know, like how you like it medium, okay? They have that new show that everyone be watching, Cooking with Kaya, Cooking with Kaya. Well, this one's Cooking with Tommy, Cooking with Tommy. You're going to like this show. I'm going to cook you up a storm when you get to my place. It's going to be real good. I'm going to have the wine laid out for you. I'm going to have the table spread for you. Table full, just like you like to see it. And you're thinking in your mind, oh, this sounds magical. This sounds amazing. This sounds so good. But the problem is when he cooks for you, you guys aren't just going to eat steak. You're also going to drink wine. And after you guys drink a lot of wine and eat a lot of steak, you're going to be feeling lazy. You're going to be feeling so good. You and him are going to be having so much conversation, right? So the wine's going to lead to conversation. And after you have all these convos, right, the time's going to fly by. And as time is flying by, it's going to eventually get late. All of a sudden, Cooking with Tommy has turned into 1 a.m. And you're still a little bit drunk off the wine that you had, still feeling a little bit of a buzz. So he recommends to you, why don't you instead sleep over? I got some shorts in my closet for you. You want to sleep over? You want to sleep over? You want to sleep over? Me and you have a sleepover? Now you guys can cuddle. And you want to know what happens after you cuddle? You start feeling a lot of things poking on your backside. One thing leads to another. And then all of a sudden, you're sleeping together once again. So the reason I bring this up is because you are now at war. Every little thing matters, right? You've already lost a lot of your leverage now and a lot of your control. You're trying to regain all of that back. You've already made your first major mistake. We're trying to undo mistakes, not compound them. So at this point in your relationship, you have to be thinking ahead. You have to be very aware of how things can escalate even before they escalate. No more time for you to just be willy-nilly having fun anymore, because fun easily turns into another mistake. Once you have this conversation with him, you do all this work to sit down and let him know what you expect moving forward and how you want to move and all that good stuff. Once you have that conversation and then you end up in this situation and then you make the same mistake again, just pack it up. Pack your stuff up, take your toothbrush out of his place, block his number, delete it, and move forward, because he'll never respect you after that. Once you have the conversation and you try to set the record straight and then you go on and do it again, right, the next day or the next week, your respect is gone. It's gone. He will never listen to anything you have to say ever again. Any boundary you try to set after that will just be an invisible boundary. So don't even bother trying to entertain the relationship after that. So my reasoning for saying that is there is no more room for mistakes here. Unfortunately, you have lost out on some privileges. Okay, I'll be honest with you, you're in trouble. You have no room for error. No vices for you. You want to get to this destination here. This is your point A and this is your point B. Problem though, there are quite a few things that can get you off of this track here. You're not getting drunk around him. You're not getting high anymore around him. I don't even want you vaping anymore around him. No altered states around him. Not a single one. Okay? Because anytime you're in any sort of altered state, this is going to make it so much easier to say yes to things. And remember, you're at war. There's no room for mistakes anymore. Someone said, what about being tipsy? No room for mistakes. You don't get the privilege of being drunk anymore. Okay? Nothing that's going to put you in an altered state, going to make it easier to say yes. So that means no drinking, and it also obviously means no drugs in any way, shape, or form. If you like Molly when you go out, right? You like MDMA, you go out, have a good time. No, none of that for you. You like mushrooms to make you feel good and be more social or take your mind up? No, none of that for you. You get nothing now. This is your punishment. You wanted to go there before you were ready. If you actually want your power back and you're serious about that, this is your punishment. No more drinking, no more getting high, no more drugs around him. That way, when you're aware, right, of the place that you're trying to go, you don't let anything sidetrack you from your destination. And I really mean that. These things, right, when you're saying, I want to do this, I want to be a girlfriend, I want him to treat me like this, and all that stuff is good, and I want that for you. But this, when you're on demon time, when you're off of this stuff, it's going to make it very difficult to stay on track. And then you're going to wake up the next day after being on demon time, and you're going to say, damn, I messed up. Then you're going to ask me, well, Tomisin, so I slept with him the first time. Then I watched your show on what to do if you sleep with him too early. I did all of those things, but then I got drunk and then I slept with him again. So what do I do now? And I'm going to tell you, pack your stuff up, okay? Take your toothbrush, take all of your stuff out of his place, move all your stuff back to your place, and block and delete his number, because that relationship is over. The ship has sailed. There ain't no recovery after I already gave you the recovery plan and you done messed up the recovery plan. So the reason I'm saying this is because you have no more room for error, okay? If you really want your power back. There is no more room for any more mistakes. There is no more room to not present yourself the way that you actually want to present yourself and be seen and be treated, okay? Because once you make the mistake the second time, it's friends with benefits at that point. Don't expect him to make you no girlfriend. Now, the other thing that I want to make you aware of, and we have to be honest about here, this is another road that can really get you messed up. And this is honestly not a joke, all right? So this road here, if you are someone who has a monster within you, okay? We're talking about the ovulation monster. And when you start ovulating, right? When you have that time, you can't control yourself or think straight. You start having crazy fantasies. You start messaging people from way back when. You ain't even gonna see him. You ain't gonna spend no time with him. You ain't gonna go on a date with him, not a picnic with him, not a nothing with him. Because if he so much as touches you or looks at you the wrong way, your underwear is wet now. And we're having problems now. Because now all of the blood flow is going in between your legs, not a lot of blood flow in your head now. And you're forgetting everything that I've been telling you, and you're only thinking about the latest Wattpad fantasy that you read the other day. We can't have you in that position of weakness. Just like the drugs and the alcohol, it will put you in a mind frame where you're saying, you know what? I was learning all these strategies, but who really cares? You got to live life in the moment. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay? YOLO is a song. It's not a way of life. I promise you, if you live life like it doesn't matter or there's no tomorrow, you will have consequences like there is no tomorrow. Every day you wake up, you'll regret the last day. So when it comes to your ovulation and you have this monster within you that you know speaks to you in certain ways and is on your shoulder telling you to do things that you know you shouldn't be doing, go ahead and just decline any dates at that time. And I really mean this. So if I'm going to get very strategic here. Don't laugh. I'm very serious. Go on your Flow app. Go on your Flow app. You should know what the Flow app is. If you don't, download it. FLO. Go on your Flow app in the App Store. Download the Flow app so you know what your time is, the time frame in which you'll be ovulating. You get on your Flow app and you mark off your calendar the days that you will be ovulating. Those days, no matter what he asks you, any sleepover, anything going on. I don't care if he says, I'm going to go meet the president today. I don't care if he says, oh my God, someone's coming to drop off $1 million at my house. I need you to help me and take 500,000. For no reason whatsoever will you structure any sort of hangout with him on those days. Okay? No reason. You are not free. Make up something. I don't care what it is. Are not free on those days. So I really mean that. Go into your Flow app and mark those days off, because the Flow app's going to tell you, for those of you who don't know, the Flow app, when you put in your information, it's going to tell you when your next, cycle is going to come. It's also going to tell you the days where you're ovulating. Those days, you go ahead and make sure you mark those off your calendar. Don't even make yourself available to him on those days. Let's go on to point number 5. But what you have to realize is, as I give you strategy and I try to advise you on the way you should go and go about things, you need to know that there is only so much you can do before he has to make a decision for himself. Is either to invest or to just use you for sex. He has to be the one to make that decision for himself. Of course, I'm giving you advice. Of course, I'm helping you understand how to position yourself in the place where you have the best chance to succeed. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a man and his pursuit of you, it becomes his choice to decide whether he's going to pursue you or not. So the reason I say let it flow is not in a dirty way. What I mean by let it flow is you have to allow him to make the choice. Once you do all the things you can do to position yourself in the right way and redirect the energy and redirect the focus here onto let's learn each other and better understand each other, you have to allow him to make his own decision on whether he's actually going to be serious about continuing to invest in you, or if he's going to just try and use you to sleep with you. And instead, he's going to say, yeah, I was only really here to do a friends with benefits thing. And now that you're telling me I'm not going to be able to sleep with you after being able to sleep with you the first time, I'm just going to bow out now. And you have to realize that is also a possible outcome and be perfectly okay with that. What I'm trying to help you with is putting you in the best position to succeed and hopefully see the result that you want, but at the same time, be okay with after you control what you can control, because that's what I'm trying to help you do. After that, you have to let go of the things you can't control. And the major thing in this scenario that you can't actually control is whether he chooses to actually invest in you or just use you to sleep with you, right, for sex. Because at the end of the day, it is his choice. And you're not going to be able to twist his arm or make him see something that he doesn't see. Okay? Or make him realize something that he hasn't been able to realize. For some men, unfortunately, what you'll realize is sleeping with him too early already set the table wrong and did everything the wrong way, and now you can't undo it. I can give you the best strategy to undo it and hopefully change your situation, and for some of you, it will work perfectly. For some of you, though, when you try to change this situation and adjust this and do all of the stuff that I said, even to a T, detailed, and perfectly. You'll realize that he never had any interest in investing in you for real anyways, and all he wanted to do was be friends with benefits. So the whole idea of you trying to redirect his energy into, oh, now let's focus on learning each other, he'd be like, I don't want to learn anything about you except for your anatomy. So my point being is, if he's in that mind state, that's all he's going to care about. So nothing you can say or do or strategy you can use to make him care about that if he doesn't. But if he does want to invest in you and he does like you and he is feeling you, this is a strategy where you can regain control of the narrative and make sure that you don't lose your grip on a guy who was into you, but now is going to start devaluing you if you start devaluing yourself.